So here we have just defined the about us page of our application. So we have used some of the basic utilities classes of the Tailwind and they are working quite fine. And now you can see, now we have just used here the default font of the HTML. So what if I need to use a different font? So how can I use that? So there are multiple fonts available. If we move to the inspect, if we just select this element, and if we can apply some of the styles, like we can have the font, we can have the family, and there you can see there are multiples of fonts available to use these fonts. But what if I need to use this font from the Tailwind? So if we just move on, if we just apply some font into this activities element, so for the activities, we have the H5 element. So what if I need to use a different font for this H5? So we can use the font dash the family name. So here we have the family name of the sans, we have the serif, and then we have the mono. So we only have 3 font families available within the Tailwind, nothing more. But what if I need to use a different font? So how can we define a different font within the Tailwind? So here you can see here we have multiple fonts available. Like if we just use the font family once again, so there are multiples of font available, but inside the Tailwind we only have 3 fonts which are available: the sans, serif, and the mono. So how can we define a different font? So for defining a different font, you need to customize the CSS. You need to add your own custom CSS to apply some of the fonts, because these are not available inside the Tailwind, but you can do that inside the Tailwind as well. But we'll look into that section later. So let's see that how we can apply some custom CSS styles to the Tailwind. So here comes a topic that applying the custom CSS for the Tailwind. So how can we do that? So we can do that with the layer directive. So what is the layer? So here inside the Tailwind, we have 3 layers. First we have the base, then we have the components, then we have the utilities. So we have 3 layers. So what we can use, so here we have the reserved keyword of the layer, which we use as a layer directive, and which tells the Tailwind that which bucket a set of custom CSS styles belongs to. Like in which bucket the CSS styles belong to, like the buckets are base, the components, and the utilities. So in which bucket these styles are belong to. So with the @ layer, this is a reserved keyword inside the Tailwind. So we can apply some custom CSS styles for this Tailwind with the @ layer. So let's see how can we do that. So if we move on into our application, if we open the CSS file, so here we have the globals.css, and here we have 3 layers: the base, the components, the utilities. And if we want to apply some custom CSS style, like suppose inside the base, if we want to apply some custom CSS styles, then we can use the @layer directive. We have the @layer, and @layer, after that, we need to define like in which layer we need to define some styles, like inside the base, the components, or utilities. We can apply for the base, because the base provides you some of the default styles of your application as well. So we can use the base, and inside that you need to apply that in which tag you need to apply some styles. Like if you want to apply for the body, then you can use the body like this. So you can use the normal CSS with that, and inside the body you can use any font that you want. You can use font family like this. You can have the font family, then you can define any font. Like here we have multiple fonts available, like we have the cursive. So if we save, if we move on to the application, then here you can see now we have defined the font for the body. So it will apply the font family of the cursive to whole body tag. The body contains all of your HTMLs, so it will apply to your whole HTML file. And here you can see now we have the edu hub. We have all of the things available inside the cursive font. So that's how you can customize the CSS inside that. So you can use the font family, you can use any other font family as well. You can use any custom CSS style as well. Like if you want to provide some styles for the H5. So suppose we have the H5, and inside the H5 we are rendering the activities. So you can provide your own custom styles to the H5 as well. So you can use the text decoration like this. You can use the underline as well. So with applying this, there will be underline inside this font. If we move on to the application, so here you can see now inside this, we have the underline as well. So that's how you can use the layer directive to customize your CSS. So here we have just defined this style. And what if now I want to use a custom CSS style for only this activities? So either we can use the H5 tag like this. We can use the H5. We can provide the font family. We can use a different font family, like we have the monospace. So the monospace font will be then applied. So that's how we can use it. But what if I need to use a custom CSS style for this font, and for this font? So how can we do that? So we can move on. We can provide another layer. So we can have the another layer, and that should be of the components, or we can have for the utilities. So we can use the utilities like this. And inside the utilities, what can we do? So we can use the class name. Like the class name can be, we can use a class name, like we can have the font, and that should be, I think, the font of, suppose like cursive once again. So you have the cursive, And inside the font cursive, now you can apply some of the styles. You can apply some styles, like you can use font family like this. The font family should be the cursive. So you can have the cursive, and now you can use this font cursive into your page. So you can move on. You can just provide this style over there. You can just copy that from there. You can move on into the page. You can use this font as a cursive. So you can so you have the font cursive. So here you can see now you have the cursive font inside that. If you refresh the page, so now you have the font as the cursive. So if you will just select this element, so you have the font family of the cursive. So that's how you can use, and that's how you can apply the custom CSS styles to your application, and that's how it works. And one more thing with that, so you can move on, and here we have the apply. So what is the apply directive? So the apply directive uses the Tailwind utility classes to define your custom CSS styles. So if we again move on into this, so here we have the H5 font family of the monospace. So if we want to use, so if I do not want to use the font family, if I want to use something else which is provided by the Tailwind, then we can use @apply. So you can use the apply, and then you can use any style of the Tailwind that you want. So here we have multiple styles of the Tailwind which are available. So what we can do, so we can use the underline like this. So if we use the underline, so here you can see now we'll be having the underline inside this H5 as well. So that's how the apply works. So the apply uses the Tailwind utility classes to define your custom CSS code. And that's how you can apply your custom CSS within the Tailwind CSS, and that's how it works.